Good evening and welcome to tonight's regular meeting of the Mayor and Board of Trustees for the Village of Burr Ridge for August 8th. Our first order of business, of course, as always, is the Pledge of Allegiance. And tonight we're going to be led for the very first time by three Boy Scouts from the local troop number 69. The brothers are working together, working toward their Eagle project and need to complete 2 merit badges: citizenship in the community and communications. Their attendance tonight means a requirement for both badges. I was able to learn tonight that they're all 3 of them, the letters are J. The first initial is J, just like their parents. It's a tradition in the Rohrabacher family. We have Justin, Jack, and Jeremy Rohrabacher. Will you please come to the front and join us? They're from Lyons Township High School.
All right, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you once again. Appreciate you being here today. That was a very special pledge. Tonight, and then Karen, may I have roll call, please?
Trustee Francis.
Here.
Trustee Grasso.
Here.
Trustee Pavesa.
Here.
Trustee Bolus. Trustee Murphy.
Here.
Trustee Schiappa.
Here.
Mayor Straub.
Here. And now for the residents comments section. Are there any residents who would like to make any comments to the board tonight?
Presents. One for everybody. If there's extras, I'll pass them out here. Okay.
Hi, Alice Krampitz, 7515 Drew, Burr Ridge. Here tonight on behalf of the Illinois and Michigan Canal Civic Center Authority, CCA for short. And I am actually the chairperson of that organization. It's a volunteer organization. We're responsible for a 10.8 acre dry mesic prairie, which is actually located in Hodgkins, but it's a very rare prairie in this state of Illinois. It's the rarest. And we are also responsible for the annual event, the Rendezvous, the Des Plaines Valley Rendezvous. So, believe it or not, the Rendezvous is coming up again. It's it's already a year's gone by. This year, the dates are Saturday, September 10th, and Sunday, September 11th of 2016. I want to say thank you for your annual donation. This organization desperately needs the money to run these events, such as the River Through History. So this is an early reenactment of the early days of the fur traders. So there will be craft demonstrators, battle reenactments. They have a kids trading post where they can trade for furs. We have a skillet toss. Don't get in the way of the skillets, pretty dangerous. We haven't killed anybody yet, though. And you can meet DeSable, the first resident of Chicago, supposedly. There are games, a lot of activities. So that event will be going on. And then, of course, because we are part of the National Heritage Corridor for the canal, we just want to say that we're always looking for volunteers. We need Boy Scouts, actually, this year. Have you guys ever volunteered for the Rendezvous event? No? Okay. You need to. It's a good history lesson. Last year alone for the Rendezvous, we had 3,000 people actually attend, and over the last 10 years, on Fridays we have a school day, which is free for students, usually grades rather 4th through about 7th grade, and we have given great history lessons to 14,958 students in that time frame. So it's a wonderful, wonderful program. And just a couple of fun facts about the canal. It's very important. It's connected us all the way to the Atlantic, through all the Great Lakes, and gets us down to the Gulf of Mexico. So the canal, which we're in the process of still people want to get water back in all of it. So there's a group that's actually working toward that. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but chunks of it have water in it, but not all of it. But the canal was opened in 1848. It is 94.6 miles long. It closed in 1933 when they opened the Illinois waterway that linked the Sanitary and Ship Canal to the Des Plaines and the Illinois River. And they did it for a cost of $8 million. And in 1984 is when the National Heritage Corridor was signed into law by Ronald Reagan. And now there are 12 communities involved, including Burr Ridge, that work hard to promote and teach about the history of that canal. So the books I handed out to you today, there are a couple of complimentary tickets to the rendezvous. If you need additional tickets, please let me know. There's a flyer about it, and then this book is the Heritage Corridor Guide that's put out by the Heritage Corridor Bureau for the National Heritage Corridor. So, and I have extra of those. So if anybody has any questions, let me know, and if you need any extra tickets, let me know as well. Thank you.
Mayor? I'd love to thank Alice for her dedication to this project and to mention that I have gone to this rendezvous, and it's more than just a day, if I may editorialize. A lot of the people who do present their wares and their talents at this rendezvous do spend the entire weekend there, which was sort of fascinating to me because they pitch tents, and many of these tents are quite elaborate, but they're handmade, homemade tents. There was music with people sitting on benches and playing old banjos in the background. There was food and a lot of hands-on for young and old kids, and I consider myself an old kid. So it's really a lot of fun. So come for yourself, with your spouse, with your children and/or grandchildren. It's really fun. So please come.
Very good. Well, thank you, Alice. And now, any other residents like to address the board this time? We see no one. We'll move on to the consent agenda, otherwise known as the omnibus vote. Always tricky for me to say for some reason. All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a board or citizens so request, in which event it will be removed. Under minutes, we have 5A, approval of regular board meeting of July 25th, 2016. 5B, receive and file Veterans Memorial Committee meeting of June 29th, 2016. And under minutes 5C, receive and file draft scavenger franchise agreement subcommittee meeting of July 25th, 2016. Under ordinances, oh, by the way, isn't that, I just wanted to double check the date on the Veterans Committee meeting. Didn't we have a meeting in July?
Yeah, but they're always a month late, the minutes.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Just want to make sure the date was correct. Under, there's nothing under ordinances, nothing under resolutions, under considerations. Approval of recommendation to award a contract for the 2016 concrete program. 8B, approval of recommendation to approve the request from the Burr Ridge Community Park Foundation for placement of temporary promotional signs for their Pedal the Parks event scheduled for Sunday, September 11th, 2016. 8C, we have accept resignation of Community Development Department part-time Administrative Secretary Carolyn Sanderson, effective July 28th, 2016. 8D, approval of recommendation to authorize Community Development Director to fill Community Development part-time Administrative Secretary position. 8E, receive and file retirement letter from Police Officer James W. Thompson. 8F, approval recommendation to direct the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners to fill the police officer position vacancy created by the retirement of James W. Thompson. Under 8G, approval of vendor list in the amount of in the event of $97,443.72 for all funds, plus $250,758.38 for payroll, for a grand total of $348,202.10, which includes special expenditures of $11,161 to Intera Incorporated for 2016 motor fuel tax road program fuel testing, and $26,736.75 to Superior Road striping for 2016 thermoplastic pavement marking. May I have a motion to approve the following items on the consent agenda? That would be 5A, B, and C, 8A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Skiappa?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pavesa?
Yes.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Francis?
Yes.
5-0.
All items are approved 5-0. Now we go on to ordinances. Steve?
Yes, encloses an ordinance relating to a budget amendment back during the budget process. We indicated that we anticipated a surplus in excess of $100,000 after the 15-16 budget. And we suggested that those dollars be transferred from the corporate fund to the capital projects fund. The numbers have come in, not exactly the way we anticipated, but yet we have a surplus in about the same amount that we anticipated. And we are recommending that we make that transfer to the capital projects fund. This is something that we've done the last couple of 3 years. And I recommend that the ordinance be approved.
Discussion? Questions? Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the ordinance as read,
Second.
as discussed.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes?
Trustee Skiappa?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pavesa?
Yes.
Trustee Francis?
Yes.
5-0.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. Other considerations? Pronouncement and deliberation?
I have to mention, I'm wondering if everyone saw this article in the Sunday Tribune about the emerald ash borer and how other villages in the Chicagoland area are treating it, and on the private property. Other villages, of course, have their own treatment of public lands, as we do, but they've gone further, and they've asked residents to take down their own trees if they are infected with this emerald ash borer disease. I'm talking about Schaumburg, Evanston, Mount Prospect, Arlington Heights. Mr. Shermer, who's the Emerald Ash Borer Program Manager for the State Department of Agriculture, estimates that 2 million ash trees have been taken down so far in Illinois, and he thinks that over 10 million will be. So I still think it's important that we try to keep the diseases away from the healthy trees as possible, and I know we're doing that with our managed decline. But I'm wondering if there's any way we can, again, notify the public to be aware of their own property and how they have a responsibility to their neighbors and to the village to take down any trees that are infested. Some villages send out a warning, and then if you don't take the tree down, there's a $100 fine. One village is very strict and says they can impose a fine up to $750 a day for a tree that's not taken down. And some are seasonal. In Mount Prospect, you're supposed to remove a tree within 10 days if it's between April and August, and you have a month during the rest of the year after you've been notified that the tree should be taken down. So anyway, I just think this maybe is something we should talk about. I know that our arborist is very busy taking care of our own village trees, but I think it may be prudent to try to stop the spread as best we can, even from the private property, because we may be saving some of our own parkway trees by cutting them down. I don't know, maybe they're all going to end up down, but it's better to take a tree down before it dies, because it's safer, of course. The tree can fall and do damage to person and property, and a lot of tree removal companies don't even want to take them down once the tree is dead, because they won't have their guys climb them. So unless they can cut them down at the ground and let it fall, they're not going to, they want to climb up. So I just think maybe we should still discuss this a little and decide if there's anything we should do to encourage residents and neighbors to respect their neighbors' property and their neighbors' land and their neighbors' trees by dealing with it.
Yeah, of course, we manage our tree decline program with our own contractor that we went out for contract for now twice. We make no notice to the private residents. Our arborist does occasionally get called to give consultation to a private tree. We try to limit his involvement in that. As you said, he is very busy with our own parkway trees and urban forests and landscaping and things like that. I do believe we've got some nuisance tree ordinance and I'll check up on that, and we can report back at the next meeting if it,
Yeah, I just can't remember now. For elm disease, there was an ordinance there that says the tree has to be removed. And I'm not sure if it says that for ash trees. I'll have to double check. Yeah, I mean, if we see a tree I mean, if it doesn't look nice, that's one thing, but if we think it's gonna fall on somebody's house, then we would certainly let the resident know. That's something they should take care of. But typically, once a tree is gone, I'm not sure what it poses in terms of an issue to any other name-brand trees.
and just like our own parkway trees, they're not hazardous after they've, declined to a certain point of no canopy left anymore.
We're
because they
talking
were
about not
green.
hazardous to spread the ash borer,
Right.
but they're
Not like-
hazardous if they fall.
Not like the
Yeah.
elm disease where that would-
Okay, still in the roots.
But we can certainly, put it in some of our social media and in other ways to, to talk to the residents and say,
Yeah.
it would be nice if you remove those trees if they're dead, just for aesthetic purposes and for safety.
Yeah. Or even those that still have some leaves, but you can tell that it's infested then, right? Then they don't have to wait till it's dead.
Right, they certainly
Yeah,
take
you
notice after it
take it
doesn't
down,
look
yeah.
as healthy, right, as they know it once did. And the bigger trees seem to last longer. Of course, certain other species of ash, the whites and the purples and blue ashes, seem to last longer than the green ashes. But yeah, they certainly do notice that they're dead or dying.
Maybe if
after
we
a
have some
certain percent.
photos, if we had it on our website or on our Channel 6, if they had photos of trees that are sick, then people might realize that it's not just a dry winter, a dry summer or a wet summer or whatever that's causing some fluctuation in their foliage.
Sure, I'll make sure our flyer does.
Thank you.
And Dave, before you leave, for those of you who don't know, this is Dave Preissig. He's our Public Works Director. And I'd like to have him give a quick update to the residents regarding the sidewalk along German Church Road. I know, congratulations, it's been moving quickly. They've got a lot done. The sidewalk course is in place. But would you have any time frame on when the railings might be up to safeguard people along the bridge section of it?
Sure, so in technicality, the sidewalk is closed to the public. There are barricades that say, the sidewalk closed. The sidewalk slabs are in place and it's in its current alignment, and the walls are up and everything is there. Landscaping and the retaining walls and the guardrails still have to go in, and I understand that those are about 2 weeks behind. So once those are in, we can still probably not open the sidewalk because there's still quite a drop off next to the edge. The trees are being planted, the topsoil will be placed, and then in the cooler fall weather in September, they'll restore it with the sod.
So it's recommended, obviously, it's blocked off for safety reasons, kind of use at your own risk at that point, because it's still probably safer than the street, but
Right.
I've seen people already using it.
It is being used.
It is being used, so, well, kudos on the project overall, but thank you.
Thank you.
Any other considerations or announcements?
I have one. We've been working with DuPage County regarding recycling opportunities. And I was just at a meeting last week where DuPage County was talking about electronics recycling, and they're looking for sites. So I jumped on that right away, contacted them, had them out today, and we showed them our Public Works facility, and they are very, very interested in siting a permanent recycling for electronics facility at our Public Works parking lot. They're working on a memorandum of understanding, and I hope to have that on the board agenda for the next meeting, and if that's the case, then we could get started on that very soon. Now, how it would work, it would be open to the public from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. All electronics would be accepted with the exception of TVs and monitors, where you'd have to pay a fee of either $20 or $25 depending on the size of the monitor. But all other electronics would be accepted. As you know, electronics are no longer allowed in the landfill, and so we have to dispose of them appropriately, and this would be a great way for our residents and other residents in this region to be able to take advantage of that. You know, we showed them the location. They thought it was a great location. It shouldn't have any real impact on our public works department. We may need to help them maybe 20 minutes a day to kind of help move pallets and things like that. But I think it'd be well worth it to be able to have that service right here in our community. So just to let you know that should be forthcoming.
The county will staff it?
Actually, they have been working with a company, and it is called eWorks Electronic Services. And so the people who will be staffing it is that private company.
Is it typical that you'd have to pay to get rid of a television or a monitor?
Right now, a lot of these locations that are permanent in DuPage County area won't take them at all.
Wow, what are you supposed to do with them?
Yeah, well, because the problem is the cost, is that there's really not a market for it, and so for a small fee of $20 to $25, you can get rid of those things now, whereas you haven't been able to in the last year or two. So it's something where I think you could pay online and then bring the receipt, or you could pay right there. So make it easy, but again, it's, you know, open from 7 to 3, Monday through
Really
Friday,
nice.
and I think it'd be a really nice benefit, and it's something that, you know, we took advantage of as soon as we found out about it.
It's worth mentioning that the one that Christine Rodonio, our state senator, and Jim Durkin, our representative, the one they sponsored down at Burr Ridge Middle School, was nonstop. It was a great success. There were cars lined up just a couple months ago.
Right, and so
very good.
this is permanent, so, you know, people don't have to worry about, you know, finding out the date and getting in line and worrying about that. I mean, it's going to be there permanently, and so whenever you need to, it'll be there for you.
Can you ask if they also might accept paint and other things like that?
This is just strictly electronics recycling.
Trustee Francis?
I'm sure there's a lot of details to be worked out, but this will be secured at off hours, so people just aren't dumping things.
Well, it'll be in our Public Works parking lot area, and what they normally do then is that every day they'll take the pallets and put them on a truck, and the truck goes away, and then they come back the next day. It's not to say that you couldn't have that situation occur, and, you know, there's an out clause in the agreement. I made sure that we talked to them today about that. If we have problems and we just unattainable or unsustainable, then we would just go ahead and eliminate it. But hopefully, you know, that won't be an issue.
Would there be any fees paid to the village?
No.
Was Rustic Acres offered to them?
No, I didn't offer Rustic Acres to them only because it's too far afield. You know, with the Public Works facility, you're close to Madison and Plainfield, which means you're just Willowbrook, Darien, Hinsdale, even Oak Brook, you know, down Route 83. It's right there. I think way down in Rustic Acres is too far.
Thank you. Anyone else? Are there any additional residents or non-residents who would like to address the board at this time? Any other communication from village officials?
Well, we have a couple more concerts going. We had our first rain out last week, which was unfortunate. But on August 12th, we have a 70s classic rock band called Strung Out, and they are sponsored by Allegiance, an insurance company. On August 19th, we have a Santana and Variety band entitled GMRC. They are sponsored by BMO Harris Bank. So please come out. I can't believe it. We only have 4 more concerts left. So still time, if you haven't attended one, to experience Burr Ridge at its finest.
You want to mention about the extended one?
Oh, well, yes. Why don't you, Mr. Mayor?
No, there has been an additional concert added to the end. Traditionally, we only have concerts in June, July, and August, but because we started late, we added one for the first time ever on Labor Day weekend. And now, because of the rain out, our very own Burr Ridge's Lisa Marticello and her band called Reckless are going to be playing one additional concert on September 9th. And that will be in connection with, thanks to the events committee, pulling together some additional celebration to celebrate the village's 60th anniversary, which I believe is officially October. Now, Steve, do you remember?
No, I don't.
Just checking. I know you've been here a long time.
Not that long.
Okay, but I think it is October, but officially, but here it is, September 9th. It'd be on Patriots Day weekend. Pretty cool to have us celebrate that. Any additional to that?
That should do it, that's good.
Thank you to you and the events committee and the Park District for pulling all that together. So, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Discussion, the non-residents' comments?
You did that.
I asked that. I said residents and non-residents before that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, all right. Roll call.
Trustee Scalpa.
Yes.
Trustee Pavesa.
Yes.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Francis.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
5-0.
Motion passes 5-0. We are officially adjourned. Thank you again for joining us. Have a blessed night.